Welly boots. Welly boots, smelly boots. Fill them up with jelly boots. Welly boots, smelly boots. See them on the telly boots. Welly boots, smelly boots. Now they're in my belly boots. Down behind the dustbin, I met a dog called Dave. He played in goal for us and made a fantastic save. Chickenpox. What's the point of chickenpox? Why don't they collect the spots and put them in a box? Then take the box far out of town, dig a hole and put it in the ground. I don't just mean my spots. I mean everyone's chickenpox spots. We'd have to find people to collect the spots. Not just a few, we'd need lots and lots. We'd have to choose special spot collectors. We'd need some special spot inspectors. The inspectors would decide if it was chickenpox or not. The collectors would collect every chickenpox spot. Put them in bags. Take them to a chickenpox dump. Then scoop the spots up into a great big lump. Stick the lump in a box and shut the lid tight. Drive the box away in the middle of the night. Dig a great big hole and bury the box. And that'd be the end of chickenpox. The competitions. Everywhere you go, they have competitions. My favourite is the one I hear when I shut my eyes when I'm lying on the beach. Actually, there are two competitions. The first one is, which seagull is the best at sounding like a baby crying? The second one is, which baby is the best at sounding like a seagull? The seagull that's best at sounding like a baby says, "Wah!" "You've won," I say. The baby that's best at sounding like a seagull says, "Wah!" "You've won," I say. After a while, all the seagulls sound like babies, and all the babies sound like seagulls. "You've all won," I say. "Hooray!" everyone says, and we all eat sandwiches. "Hang on," says somebody. "That one sounds like a cat." Finger food. We went to a party and they said that there wasn't going to be a meal, it was just finger food. Finger food? Finger food? Did they really think I was going to eat finger food? Nothing in the whole wide world would make me eat finger food. "No, thank you," I said. "But you like nibbles," they said. "But not fingers," I said. "Finger food is not fingers," they said. "You just eat it with your fingers. So it's called finger food." But they couldn't trick me like that. Underneath the crisps and the pretzels and the nuts and the raisins, I could see fingers. Hundreds and hundreds of fingers wiggling about, whispering, "Eat me, eat me, eat me." Warning. I went to the shirt shop and asked for a T-shirt. They said, "We don't do T-shirts, we only do coffee shirts." "OK," I said, "I'll have a coffee shirt." I took my coffee shirt home, went into my bedroom and put it on. I started coughing. I couldn't stop coughing. Cough, 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 cough. I'm not getting a coffee shirt again. Question mark. Our teacher said, "This is a question mark. Where are you going to put it?" We all had good ideas. In the red drawer, in my pocket, in my yellow pencil case, on top of the cupboard. Our teacher said, "No, we put a question mark at the end of a question. So now I want you to think of a question and put a question mark at the end of it." I said, "Can I go to the toilet?" "Correct," said our teacher. "No," I said, "I really do want to go to the toilet." A word. I know a word that isn't in the dictionary. It's a word that comes from my dad. It's a word that came from his grandfather. It's a word that I don't really know what it means. It's a word my father says, and he says he doesn't really know what it means. All he knows is when to say it. What he knows is when his grandfather used to say it. His grandfather who came from far away, from a place he called the Heim. The word is Schnobraganz. My father says that his grandfather said it when there was a big pile of food on the table, and everyone crowded round, saying how nice it was, and started to eat it. Schnobraganz. I can imagine that. All the old relatives crowding round a table, talking and laughing. And my father is a small boy, trying to get to the table too, pushing past the old relatives. And his grandfather says, Schnobraganz. So when we have a big pile of food on the table, and everyone crowds round, saying how nice it is, and starts to eat it, my dad says, Schnobraganz. One day, someone said to me that Gans means goose, and Schnobra means beak. And when he said that, all the old relatives turned into geese at the edge of a forest, next to a lake, and they're all flapping their wings and honking round the table, and my father turns into a small boy trying to get to the table, pushing past the geese. The toddlers. Look, the toddlers are running away. The toddlers are on the run. Look at them on the beaches. Look at them in the sun. It's toddlers in supermarkets, toddlers in the mall, it's toddlers in the park, and toddlers with a ball. Yes, the toddlers are on the run, toddlers running away. The toddlers are quick, toddlers doing it today. They've just learned how to talk. They've just learned how to walk. They've just learned feeding. And now they've taken up speeding. They think you'll never catch them. They think you're much too slow. They think you're much too tall and you can't bend down low. Hear them whoop, shout and scream. Hear them laugh, squeal and giggle. If you do manage to grab them, get set for toddlers to wriggle. They've tasted the fun. They've tasted the sun. They're running away. They're doing it today. If it's in a park or in a shop, the toddlers just don't want it to stop. A cat. I'm a cat, and that's that. I hear you say I should be thinner. I don't care. I want my dinner. Can't you see I think it's awful when all you give me is a tiny forkful? Can't you see me being grateful when you give me a massive plateful? You see, I'm a cat that wants to get fat, and that's that. Down behind the dustbin I met a dog called Grace. I was on drums, she was on bass. I don't like. Mum, I don't like crusty bums in my Ted. Oh, I mean, best mums in my bread. I mean, stoat bombs in my crest. Oh, I mean, beast tums in my test. I mean, tomb crusts in my head. I mean, what do I mean? I mean, toast crumbs in my bed. That's what I mean. Trouble. Once my brother was in trouble. Big trouble. And he was sent to his room, and I went upstairs to talk to him, and he told me how it was really unfair, and it was all Dad's fault. And didn't I agree it was all Dad's fault? And I felt sorry for my brother, and I wondered how I could help, and I thought, I know. I could shout something really horrible about our dad, and that would make my brother feel better, because then my brother would know that I was on his side. So I thought, what shall I shout? I know, I'll shout, "Stinky old dad." I'll shout it really, really loud, and that'll help. That'll make my brother feel better. So I stood up on my bed and I started to shout, "Stinky old dad!" But the thing is, I only got as far as "Stinky old dad" when Dad walked in, right in the middle of me shouting that. I stopped just in time. The thing is, Dad didn't hear me. He just walked straight in and had another go at my brother. And all the time Dad was going on and on and on and on and on. We were trying not to laugh. We didn't dare look at each other. But I could hear my brother making tiny little snorty noises in his nose, and I coughed to cover up my laughing. Then Dad walked out, and we fell into a great heap of giggles, saying, "Stinky old dad! Stinky old dad!" over and over again. Arrows. Me and my friend Haribo, we were playing arrows. You take the grass that's got pointed tops. You pull one off and you throw it. It can glide through the air, and if it lands on something soft, it can stick in something like a jumper or your hair. We love playing arrows. We found this open window on the wall of the alley by my house. We stood back from the window to see who could get an arrow through the window. First it was his turn, then mine. Mostly they missed. Then one went in. "Yeah! Arrow!" we shouted. Then we carried on, missing again and again. All of a sudden, a man appeared in the alley. It was the man we called Baldy. He came marching up and stood there in front of us. He held out his hand. He looked down at it. "What do you think this is, eh?" he shouted. We looked down. There, stuck between his fingers, was an arrow. He told us to clear off, and we did. Later, when we sat down round at Haribo's place, we talked about how the arrow must have gone whizzing through the window and landed on his hand. And we imagined him sitting there, and an arrow coming from nowhere, whee, through the window, and just happening to land on his hand. Wow! What a shot! And we laughed and laughed. Then, much later, Haribo said, "I wonder whose arrow it was. Yours or mine?" And neither of us knew, and neither of us will ever know. Down behind the dustbin, I met a dog called Amy. She wanted one of my books, but said she wouldn't pay me. Flying home. Flying home from holiday. Flying home from holiday. All of us together, all of us together. Landing at the airport, landing at the airport. All of us together, all of us together. In the airport bus, in the airport bus. All of us together, all of us together. In the big hall, in the big hall. All of us together, all of us together. Then, Mum goes one way. Dad goes the other way. Mum's got one passport. Dad's got another. We're with Mum. Dad's on his own. We go through. So where's Dad now? Waiting for Dad. Waiting for Dad. Mum's biting her lips. Waiting for Dad. Waiting for Dad. Waiting for Dad. Mum holding our hands, waiting for Dad. Waiting for Dad. Waiting for Dad. Waiting for Dad. Then it's, there he is! There he is! He's got through! He's got through! So it's all of us together! All of us together! Heading home! All of us together! Heading home! Imagine if your nails are nails. So every time they get long, you hammer them in a bit to make them short. Imagine if your sink sinks. So every time you have a wash, it gets lower and lower. Imagine if your painting does painting. So every time you look at it, you can see the painting painting itself. Imagine if a letter is a letter. So every time a letter arrives in the morning, you open it up, and all there is in it is the letter A, or the letter Q. Imagine if the stars are stars. So every time you look up at the sky at night, all you can see are famous people from the movies. The Frisbee. On a camping trip, my brother and me invented the Frisbee. Frisbees that spin as they fly, as they zoom, as they dip. A Frisbee. It's a disc, a satellite, a UFO, a spaceship. The Frisbee. It looks like it should hum, or whir, or buzz. It doesn't even whisper. It flies and spins. That's what it does. On a camping trip, my brother and me invented the Frisbee. I was 7. My brother was 11. We were washing the dishes, thin, lightweight picnic plates. My brother and me got bored. It was getting late. So we started throwing plates. Plates that spin as they fly, as they zoom, as they dip. Look, that plate is a disc, a satellite, a spaceship. A plate that looks like it should hum or whir or buzz. It doesn't even whisper. It flies, it spins. That's what it does. No one knows. My brother and me invented the Frisbee on a camping trip in 1953 because we didn't ever tell anyone that that's what we did. The map. I was holding the map, and the roads went right up to the edge of the map and met the lines on my hand. I wonder if we could walk along the roads on the map and then walk along the lines on my hand. I could hold out my hand and point to one of the lines and say, "This is the way to the park. Follow me." Orange. "Help! I'm stuck in an orange. I can't get out. It's really orange in here and wet." Breakfast. I had samata for breakfast. What's the matter? Nothing's the matter with me. What's the matter with you? I had sup for breakfast. What's up? Nothing's up with me. What's up with you? I had spothering you for breakfast. What's bothering you? Nothing's bothering me. What's bothering you? I had sapnin for breakfast. What's happening? Not a lot. Anything happening with you? I had sit all about for breakfast. What's sit all about? I don't know what it's all about. Do you? I had going on for breakfast. What's going on? Not much. What's going on with you? I had snot easy for breakfast. What's not easy? It's not easy making up these jokes. In bed. On Sundays, me and my brother stay in bed for ages, mucking about, telling stories. And Dad calls for us to come down. But we don't. We go on mucking about, telling stories. And he comes rushing in and says, "When you wake up, get up." Now, if one of us wakes up before the other one, we creep over to the other bed, where the other one is still fast asleep, put our mouth close to his ear and shout, "When you wake up, get up!" Down behind the dustbin, I met a dog called Mark. "If I wasn't a dog," he said, "I'd like to be a shark." The people. My friend's dad took my friend and me up a hill to see what he said was a people's palace, a palace for the people. We went for a ride on a little train round a lake, and we rode to an island in the middle. We looked out over the city, and my friend's dad said we had to believe in the people. Down below us, an express train rushed along. "That's the Tyne Tees Express," he said, "going all the way to Newcastle." It looked like it was as small as the little train we went on. "Now I'll show you a secret," he said. Next to the People's Palace, there was a shed. It was locked up. Railway lines led in. We looked through a crack between the doors. Inside there was an old train, shining in the dark. A dark red railway engine with silver stripes. Maybe one day they'll get it out, and we can ride round the lake being pulled by that red and silver engine, my friend's dad said. "You have to have hope," he said. Cue for a poem. "Quack, quack," said the duck. "Quick, quick," said the quail. "Be quiet," said the queen. "Don't quarrel," said the snail. "Aren't I first in the queue?" said the queen to the quail. "What a silly question," said the duck to the snail. "Quite right," said the quads. "Who asked you?" said the snail. "Aren't I in charge?" said the queen. "Is this a quiz?" said the quail. Steam train. We're on a steam train trip, we're on a steam train trip. Listen to the whistle blow, pip, pip, pip. Listen to our steam train go, chuff, chuff, chuff. Listen to our steam train go, puff, puff, puff. We wave out the window, we wave to the cars, and when it starts getting dark, we wave to the stars. Melon. Melon squashy, melon sloshy, my friend Helen's eating melon. So far so good with Helen and her melon, but here's what I'm telling Helen. Don't sit on your melon, Helen. Ships. A ship in a bottle sails down the mantelpiece. A ship in a photo brings Grandma here. Ships they talk and talk about, ships far and near. How did the ship get in the bottle? Ships by night and by day, ships they talk and talk about. Why did Grandma come to stay? Who put the ship in the bottle? Ships that they once knew, ships they talk and talk about. Why didn't Grandad come too? When did the ship go in the bottle? Ships sailing far and near, ships they talk and talk about. Who else didn't come here? Who broke the ship in the bottle? Can anyone tell me why? Ships they talk and talk about. And why did the baby die? Dad. Dad's a climbing frame. We're climbing on Dad. We've got a climbing frame. Let's go mad. The checked dress. I say, "Will you wear the checked dress today?" But Mum says, "Not today." So I wait 3 days, and then I say, "Will you wear the checked dress today?" She says, "Yes," and I like it all day. Before I was born, I had 2 hands. On one hand, 1 thumb. On the other hand, Another one. In the middle of me, I had a heart. It went chaboomsha, 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 my heart. I had ears, and my ears could hear kaboom, 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 my mum's heart. Together we went chaboomsha, 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 kaboom, chaboomsha, 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 kaboom. Before I was born. The cat. When we got a cat, Dad said, let's name him after a famous cat. He said that in one of his favourite books there was a cat called Archie. So we called our cat Archie. I found my dad's favourite book. It's called Archie and Mehitabel. It's a really good book. The thing is, in the book, Archie is not a cat. Mehitabel is the cat. Archie is a cockroach. Our black cat is named after a famous cockroach. He didn't mind. A dream. I sit down at a feast. The table is spread with shining plates, silver knives and forks. Candles burn, decorations glitter. The food is waiting. Great big pies, bowls full of roast potatoes, pickles, chutneys, sauces, jugfuls, dishfuls of hot food cover the table from end to end. I reach forward. I'm ready to eat, but, what's this? The pies are moving. The bowls are moving. The jugs and dishes all moving towards me. One of the pies opens up right in front of me. There's a bowl sliding up to my hand. A pie is going to eat me. A bowl has got hold of my finger. Don't do it! Don't do it! Let go! A dish lands on my stomach, plop, and bites into me. There's the jug up at my face. Mind my eyes! The pie is snapping round my neck. Get off! I am not eating the dinner. The dinner is eating me. The dinner is eating me. I wake up. Birdsong. Can you swallow a swallow? Are you as swift as a swift? Can you fly a kite with a kite? Do you grouse about a grouse? Have you ever stalked a stork? Can you duck under a duck? Are you raving about a raven? Do you crow at a crow? Does a puffin get you puffing? Do you howl at an owl? Down behind the dustbin I met a dog called Lizzie. Can you come here? I said. No, I'm much too busy. My brother. My brother's on the floor roaring. My brother's on the floor roaring. Why is my brother on the floor roaring? My brother is on the floor roaring because he's supposed to finish his beans before he has his pudding. But he doesn't want to finish his beans before he has his pudding. He says he wants his pudding now. But they won't let him. So now my brother is on the floor roaring. They're saying, I'll give you one more chance to finish those beans or you don't go to Tony's. But he's not listening. He's on the floor roaring. He's getting told off. I'm not. I've eaten my beans. And do you know what I'm doing now? I'm eating my pudding. And he's on the floor roaring. If he wasn't on the floor roaring, he'd see me eating my pudding, and if he looked really close, he might see a tiny little smile at the corner of my mouth. But he's not looking because he's on the floor roaring. Mum. Mum likes poems. Mum likes bits of poems. We might be sitting about doing nothing, and suddenly she looks up and says in a sing-song voice, "Tread softly, because you tread on my dreams." We might be walking about, not doing anything special, and she suddenly waves her arm about and says in her strange sing-song voice, "Oh, I'm a cat that likes to gallop about, doing good." Mum likes poems. Mum likes bits of poems. Dinner time. Here is the house where the rich man lives. Here is the fence the rich man put up to stop his daughter going out. Here is the bridge his daughter crosses with the poor man she loves, with the rich man chasing after them. Here is the boat they take to a faraway place where they are safe. Here is the house where they live together. Here are the trees that grow in their garden. Here is the house where the rich man lives, from where he sends out soldiers to find his daughter and the poor man she loves. Here are the birds who were once the daughter and the poor man she loves, flying across my plate. Names. When we talk about sisters and brothers and fathers and mothers, when it comes to my dad, there's always a place where there's a bit of a space. It's a gap with no one there. It's a father, a dad, over there, somewhere. When we talk about sisters and brothers and fathers and mothers, and we get to the sisters and brothers of my father's father, he shuts his eyes and says he'd rather not talk about that. But we ask for their names and where they are. Where do they live? And is it far? And bit by bit, he tells us their names. None of them here. There was a war, he explains. And we sit and we think about us sitting here, how sisters and brothers could just disappear. But because Mum and Dad were in a different place, they could stay here where they were safe. My mother and father were able to survive, and here we are now, and we're all alive. Judith. A friend of my dad's comes from far, far away. When she comes over, she'll often stay. She comes upstairs when I'm in bed and asks me, what was the last book I read? Then she looks out the window and starts to talk, and when she talks, she starts to walk. And as she walks, she scratches her nose, and as she scratches, she talks of volcanoes. She says, we could hear volcanoes talking. Round and round my room she's walking. She says, we could hear volcanoes moaning. She says we could hear volcanoes groaning, and one of the volcanoes, a very special one, when this one talks, we have to run. She waves her hands and then shouts, boom! And now there's a volcano in my room. Yo-yo. Mart's mum was looking after me, but Mart wasn't there. Mart's mum said I could play with Mart's yo-yo. Mart's mum said it was Mart's best yo-yo. Mart's mum said, you can go outside and play with Mart's best yo-yo outside. I went outside with Mart's best yo-yo. I tried to do around the world. I tried to do walk the dog. Then I did my own thing with Mart's best yo-yo. I whirled it round and round above my head. I'm a helicopter, I said. I whirled Mart's best yo-yo round and round above my head, round and round and round. Then I let go. I didn't mean to let go of Mart's best yo-yo. Actually, I don't think it was me who let go of Mart's best yo-yo. I think Mart's best yo-yo let go of me. Mart's best yo-yo went flying through the air, over a fence, and then over another fence. I don't know where Mart's best yo-yo went. It just went. I went indoors. Mart's mum was looking at me. I pretended I had Mart's best yo-yo in my hand, and I stretched out my arm and pretended to put Mart's best yo-yo next to the biscuit jar. Mart's mum watched. Mart's mum went over to the biscuit jar. "Where's the yo-yo?" she said. "It's gone," I said. "Gone?" she said. "It just went," I said. "It just went? It just went? Where?" she said. "I don't know," I said. "That was Mart's best yo-yo," Mart's mum said. "I know," I said. Eagle and Donkey. Donkey in the dingles, eagle in the sky. Donkey does the cha-cha, eagle can't fly. Eagle and donkey, it's all gone wonky. Inky pinky ponky, plink plunk plonky. Panini. In my panini, something teeny. Panini, panini, something weeny. Panini, panini, bim bam beanie. The songs my father sings. When I shut my eyes and go to sleep, I think of all sorts of things. I hear songs and bits of songs, songs that my father sings. How does he know all these songs? Where has my father been? Who sang the songs he sings? And what do the songs all mean? Eyo-pe-po-pe-po from France. Zimzalabim bambazaladoozaladim from Germany. Avanti a popolo from Italy. Miss Mary Mac 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 from America. Lintanadi Turanadi from Scotland. Mamita Mia from Spain. Kalinka 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 Moya from Russia. With a hey and a ho and a hey nonny no from England. And die Fiedeldische Fiddlers haben fiedeldich gefiedelt, haben fiedeldich gefiedelt haben sie, from his grandfather. When I shut my eyes and go to sleep, I think of all sorts of things. I hear songs and bits of songs, songs that my father sings. Lonely Lane. Don't ever go down to Lonely Lane. You know you won't ever come back again. Lonely Lane is a lonely place. In Lonely Lane you have a lonely face. So come back home to Cheery Chops, where everyone jumps and everyone hops, everyone leaps and everyone prances, everyone skips and everyone dances. Metroland. I've seen the sign on the station wall. It's where we wait. It's where we stand. It's a sign that tells us where we live. A sign that says we're in Metroland. Metroland, Metroland, where the roads are long and the trains go zing, the trams go clang and the bus goes ping. At night it's dark all along the roads. Over the bridges the trains roll by. People inside can see me down here. The light of the train lights up the sky. Metroland, Metroland, where the roads are long and the trains go zing, the trams go clang and the bus goes ping. Like robots. My brother took me to the Science Museum. Upstairs in the Science Museum there was a machine. He explained that the machine would show that when we speak, we sing. My brother likes explaining things. I put on some earphones. A man in the earphones was talking like a robot, never stopping. never changing his voice. Home, Steve, Williams, coming. Home, Steve, Williams, coming. Home, Steve, Williams, coming. See? My brother said. It doesn't make sense. That shows that when we speak, we sing. Singing helps us make sense. My brother likes explaining things. On the way home, on the train, we sat there doing the science museum thing, talking like robots, never stopping, never changing our voice. Home, Steve, Williams, coming. Home, Steve, Williams, coming. Home, Steve, Williams, coming. People looked at us. A man frowned. They looked like they were wondering what we were doing. When we got home, we were having tea. We sat there doing the science museum thing, talking like robots, never stopping, never changing our voice. Home, Steve, Williams, coming. Home, Steve, Williams, coming. Home, Steve, Williams, coming. What are you two doing now? Dad said. Not making sense, my brother said. My brother likes explaining things. Can you can on a can? Can you cartwheel on a cart? Will you whistle in the wind? Have you heard it in your heart? I can on a can. I can cartwheel on a cart. I'll whistle in the wind. I've heard it in my heart. Could you keep what you could? Would you wish that you would? Did you do what you did? Should you show what you should? I could keep what I could. I would wish what I would. I did what I did. I should show what I should. Down behind the dustbin I met a dog called James. He says he's got 2 brothers, but can't remember their names. 2. Say this as quick as you can. 2, 2, 2, tooth, toothpick, 2 toothpicks, 2 toothpicks, 2. It took 2 toothpicks to pick 2 teeth. It took 2 toothpicks to pick 2 teeth, too. It took 2 toothpicks to pick 2 teeth, too. It took 2 in a 2 toothpicks to pick 2 teeth, too. Grandad's complaining about his cold. I really don't want to cause a kerfuffle, but I have to say I've got an awful snuffle. I'm walking along with a slow shuffle. I feel like my head is under a muffle. You could cheer me up with a chocolate truffle, but to tell the truth, I've had more than enoughful. The dam on the beach. A stream runs down the beach to the sea. We paddle in the water, Martin and me. Martin says we should build a dam. He says, "Are you ready?" I say I am. And the sun is hot, the water is cool. If we build a dam, we'll make a pool. But we haven't got a spade to dig in the sand. No matter, says Martin, just use your hand. The sand in the stream is soft and soggy. We dig with our hands. It's gloopy and boggy. And the sun is hot, the water is cool. If we build a dam, we'll make a pool. Handful by handful, we pile up the sand. It's starting to look just as we planned. Martin smooths it to look like concrete. The heat on the beach is beginning to beat. And the sun is hot, the water is cool. If we build a dam, we'll make a pool. The dam now stretches across the stream. The heat in the air is making me dream. Below the dam, it's starting to go dry. I think the sun is eating the sky. And the sun is hot, the water is cool. We've built a dam, we're making a pool. Above the dam, the water gets higher. What if the sky turned into a fire? The water in the pool could put it out. Just then I hear Martin give a shout. We've built a dam, we've made a pool. The sun is hot, but the water's cool. Come on, he says, let's splash in the pool. This is the way to get ourselves cool. We jumped in the water and danced about. The fire in the sky started to go out. But as we jumped, it washed away the sand. This time it wasn't just as we planned. The dam burst open, the water rushed through. You broke the dam, said Mart. So did you. But we didn't mind. We stood in the flow, the water in the pool, dropped down low. The stream went back to how it was before, except for bits of the dam left on the shore. We built a dam, we made a pool. The sun was hot, but the water was cool. Metal covers on the pavement. On the pavement there are metal covers, like metal plates. Sometimes there are metal messages on the metal covers saying who made them and where, like Western Ironworks, Notting Hill. As we walk along, I start to wonder if there are Eastern Ironworks too, or maybe Northern and Southern Ironworks as well. And Notting Hill? Who goes notting up Notting Hill? Does everyone say not in Notting Hill? Are you alive, you say? No, we're not, they say. This is Notting Hill. Sometimes there are mysterious messages on the metal plates like automatic action. Does that mean that the metal plate could leap in the air automatically? Or could it spin round and round automatically? And sometimes there are mysterious words: hydrant, ductile, slide out, rapide. What do they mean? I don't know. And then there's one I see over and over. It says CATV. For a moment I thought it meant that it was saying that it was Cat TV. And under the metal plate there's a room where cats sit about watching TV. Maybe our cat goes out at night, meets up with her friends. They lift the metal plate, climb down and snuggle up to watch Cat TV. Whole programmes about cats, trying to find which cat's got the talent. Cat Olympics, cat football and cat news. But then I noticed it said CATV, not Cat TV. And I thought maybe it isn't Cat TV after all, unless cats are not very good at spelling, and they meant to write Cat TV, but wrote CATV by mistake. Quiet. When people want me to be quiet, they shout, "Be quiet!" very loudly. Down behind the dustbin, I met a dog called Peter. "It's really cold today. Can you turn on the heater?" Smells. I can tell there's a smell. There's perfume in the room. There's a scent in the tent. There's cologne in the phone. There's an odour in the loader. There's deodoriser in the fertiliser. I can tell there's a smell. The school trip. We were going to go on a whole school trip. The whole school was going to go on the river. The whole school was going to go on a boat and go down the river. One teacher said that it would be a good idea if we all learnt sea shanties. I'd never heard of sea shanties. What's a sea shanty? The teacher said it was a song that sailors used to sing when they were hauling up the anchor or pulling on rope to make the sails go up on a sailing ship. I asked if we were going to be hauling up an anchor or pulling on a rope to make the sails go up on a sailing ship. My teacher said that I must try much harder not to be silly. The boat we're going on, she said, doesn't have sails, and someone else does the anchor. So every day in assembly we sang sea shanties. We practised and practised and practised. We sang, "Oh Shenandoah, I love your daughter." Who was Shenandoah? And why did I love her daughter? Or was it his daughter? I didn't get a chance to ask that question. We loved singing it, though. Oh, Shenandoah, I love your daughter. Then we sang, We're bound for the Rio Grande. We all swayed to and fro when we sang that one. And away, boys, away, away for Rio. The Rio Grande sounded very grand. So we were all very glad that we were going there. I told my mum and dad and brother all about Shenandoah and the Rio Grande. After a few weeks, we all knew Shenandoah and Rio Grande, and we were ready to go on the trip down the river. It took us most of the day to get to the river, but the boat waited for us. We all got on board. Some people sat on top, some down below. There was a man who told us what to see. There's the Tower of London, he said, and there's Traitor's Gate. Anyone who goes through Traitor's Gate, he said, will never come out again. He made it sound as if we were all going to go through Traitor's Gate. Maybe if I asked any more silly questions about sails and anchors, I might have to go through Traitor's Gate. My friend asked me who was my favourite cowboy on the television. I said that we didn't have a television in my house, so he started telling me about all the cowboys on his television. Hank, the Cisco Kid, the Lone Ranger, Roy Rogers and Hopalong Cassidy. He said his favourite was Roy Rogers. I said that I liked the sound of Hopalong Cassidy. Hopalong Cassidy, I said. Hopalong, Hopalong, Hopalong Cassidy. Don't be silly, he said. Just then, the teachers started clapping their hands together to get us to be quiet. But it wasn't like at school, where everyone could hear a teacher clapping. Hardly anyone could hear them. We were all talking about cowboys on the television. Well, I don't suppose we all were, but some of us were. And other people were talking about other things like Muffin the Mule or Trebor Chews. Trebor Chews were small sweets, which, when you put them in your mouth, they made your teeth stick together. Or Sharp's Strong Toffee. That made your teeth stick together too. We had loads to talk about. Anyway, the teachers wanted us to start singing the sea shanties. But we couldn't hear that they wanted us to start singing the sea shanties. So they started to sing the sea shanties. Oh, Shenandoah, I love your daughter. Far away, I heard my teacher singing in her high voice. Oh, Shenandoah, I love your daughter. And no one was joining in. Not even the good children who always join in. They were talking about Trebor Chews and fizzy refreshers. So then the teachers gave up on Oh Shenandoah and started to sing Rio Grande. For we're bound for the Rio Grande, and away, boys, away, away for Rio. And they did lots of swaying, big swaying. They must have thought, that will get them going. Everyone will sway, and then everyone will sing. But no one did. No one swayed, and no one sang, We're bound for the Rio Grande. The boat went on. We saw a crane. Seagulls went, wah! A train went over a bridge. Then we spent the rest of the day going home. When we got home, my mum and dad said, Did you have a good time? Yes, I said, a really good time. What did you do? My mum said. I talked about Roy Rogers, I said, and Hopalong Cassidy. Are we going to get a television? No, not yet, my mum said. Did you do anything else? Did you see anything good? Yes, I said. I saw Traitor's Gate. You don't want to go in there, Mum, I said, or you'll never come out. No, I won't, she said. Don't you worry. Did you sing the sea shanties? She asked. No, I said. We were talking about Trebor Chews. Oh, That's a shame, she said. I can sing it now, I said. Oh, that's nice, she said. So me, Mum, Dad and my brother sat and sang O Shenandoah and We're Bound for the Rio Grande. And we ate egg on toast. Down behind the dustbin, I met a dog called Dennis. I'm no good at football, but I'm really good at tennis. Happy song. Happy, happy gong day. Bing, bang, bong on your gong day. You'll never go wrong on your gong day. You can sing your song on your gong day. Sing it all day long on your gong day. Sing it loud and strong on your gong day. Happy, happy gong day. Happy, happy song day. Bing, bang, bong on your song day. You'll never go wrong on your song day. You can sing your song on your song day. Sing it all day long on your song day. Sing it loud and strong on your song day. Happy, happy song day. My cousins. My cousins are sisters. When we go to their house, we do quizzes. While my auntie cooks, my cousins get out their quiz books. What do you call a baby parrot? What colour is the common carrot? What is the capital city of Spain? Where in your body do you keep your brain? What do you call a baby dog? What do you call a baby frog? I start to get in a bit of a muddle. My cousins sit together in a huddle. They fire the questions faster and faster. The quiz turns into a total disaster. What do you call a baby cow? What do you think you're doing now? What's the sea people call the Med? Michael, why are you going red? Who has a reindeer with the name of Prancer? Michael, don't you know the answer? What do you call a baby duck? Why is it you think you're stuck? Where's the moon? Where's your spoon? What's in the box? When is a fox? Why is a tree? Where is tea? I say I've had enough. I can't do any more of this stuff. They say, in which country would you find the city of Rome? I say, I don't know. I want to go home. But then Auntie says it's time to eat. She puts a cushion on my seat. We eat fresh warm bagels with sticky honey. My cousins do jokes I think are funny. Auntie asks me why I'm wriggling. My cousins say, why are you giggling? They say to Auntie, are our jokes better than his? And I say, is that part of the quiz? Then we all do much more wriggling, and then we all do much more giggling. Joining things together. When the old people get together, sometimes they talk about when they were children. Children? How could they have been children? In America, old cousin Ted, aged 101, looks at a photo. There's a family standing on a boat. That's Grandma. Grandma is standing with her children, a baby, a little boy, a little girl. The baby is Wallace. The girl is Sylvia. The little boy is my father. My father is a little boy. The boat is sailing from America to England. Old cousin Ted says he was there. How old were you? 14, he says. I was 14. He says, there was a trunk, an old black trunk. I pulled that trunk on our cart all the way to the railroad station. Your grandma walked in front, carrying the baby. Sylvia walked with me, holding my left hand. My right hand held the handle of the cart. See your father? He's around 3 years old. Sometimes he walked beside his mother, your grandma. Sometimes he slowed down to walk with his sister, Sylvia. When we reached the railroad station, there were about 20 steps to go up to the station. I left the cart and the trunk at the bottom of the steps, and helped your father and his sister up those steps. The train had just pulled into the station. I left the children at the top of the steps and went down to get the trunk. I had to pull the trunk on a rough road. By the time I got back up to the station level, the train was leaving. I watched it leave. Then I pulled the cart and the trunk all the way back to our store.
What's all this about the trunk? Why are they talking about the trunk?
Ah, the trunk, my father says, full of photos of uncles and aunts and cousins from America, France, Poland, Russia.
Where is it, I say? Old cousin Ted says his father sent it on to England. Where is it now?
Ah, says my father,
years later, when Grandma left the place she was living in, she left it there by mistake. When I went back, it had gone. Did Grandma go back to America?
My father says no. She never went back. Old cousin Ted says no. I never saw your grandma again. She never came back.
The railroad station, the cart, the trunk, the boat, the flat. Ted, Grandma, my father, me. I feel like I'm trying to join things together that are far, far apart. Then it's time for me to go. Bye, Ted, I say. Thanks for everything. Thanks for telling me all those things. Bye. My father says he doesn't remember the railroad station. Or the boat. Eat it or leave it. If I push the peas round my plate to see how fast they roll, my dad says, eat it or leave it. If I turn my mashed potato into a castle, my dad says, eat it or leave it. If I use the peas to turn the mashed potato into a face, my dad says, eat it or leave it. When my dad spends ages and ages and ages and ages looking for fish bones in his fish, I say, eat it or leave it. 2 languages. Mum can speak 2 languages and sometimes mixes them up. She doesn't say, don't moan. She says, don't kvetch. She doesn't say, don't slurp your soup. She says, don't hoop. You say it so it nearly rhymes with soup. She doesn't say, don't burp. She says, don't graps. She doesn't say, don't fart. She says, don't fots. When I have wrinkles in my socks, she says it looks like I've put my feet through a pile of bagels. So she says, take the bagels out of your socks. So I sing it all back to her. Don't kvetch, don't hoop, don't graps, don't fots. Take the bagels out of your socks. We all sing it. Don't kvetch, don't hoop, don't graps, don't fots. Take the bagels out of your socks. Down behind the dustbin, I met a dog called Wayne. He was throwing stuff and generally being a pain. Down behind the dustbin, I met that dog called Wayne. I said, oh no, not you again. Prune stones. We were at a camp when this girl Vicky said, do you know what you can do with prune stones? She squeezed a prune stone out of her mouth and put it on the table. She lifted up her spoon and brought it down as fast as she could onto the prune stone. It flew across the camp at 1,000,000 miles an hour. It tore into a tent and out the other side, flew through the flames of the campfire, sizzling as it went. It shot through some trees, burning the leaves, headed for the nearby village, and when it got there, zoomed straight into the church tower, hit the bell, and set it ringing like mad. Old Joe Jump climbed up the tower to try to get the bells to stop ringing, but slipped on a prune stone and came tumbling all the way down. Luckily, he landed on a donkey who galloped off towards our camp. It galloped and galloped and galloped, and when it arrived, it went straight up to Vicky. She was standing there with a spoon in the air, just about to bring it down hard on another prune stone. But the donkey bent down and ate it before she could hit it. Old Joe Jump said, "What's for tea?" And Vicky said, "Prunes." "Hey," said Old Joe Jump, "I know something you can do with prune stones." He squeezed a prune stone out of his mouth and put it on the table. He lifted up his spoon and brought it down as fast as he could onto the prune stone. It flew across the camp at 1,000,000 miles an hour. It tore into a tent and out the other side, flew through the flames of the campfire, sizzling as it went. It shot through some trees, burning the leaves, headed for the nearby village, and when it got there, zoomed straight into the church tower, hit the bell, and set it ringing like mad. Old Joe Jump climbed up the tower to try to get the bells to stop ringing, but slipped on a prune stone and came tumbling all the way down. Luckily, he landed on a donkey, who galloped off towards our camp. It galloped and galloped and galloped, and when it arrived, it went straight up to Vicky. She was standing there with the spoon in the air, just about to bring it down hard on another prune stone. But the donkey bent down and ate it before she could hit it. Old Joe Jump said, "What's for tea?" And Vicky said, "Prunes." "Hey," said Vicky, "I know something you could do with prune stones." She squeezed a prune stone out of her mouth and put it on the table. She lifted up her spoon and brought it down as fast as she could onto the prune stone. It flew across the camp at 1,000,000 miles an hour. You probably know what happened next. My running shoes. My running shoes are on the run. They've escaped from the room they were in. My running shoes are on the run. They're heading for the bin. My running shoes are no good. I know that that's what they think. My running shoes are no good. They know they're starting to stink. My running shoes are ashamed. They've decided it's best to go. My running shoes are ashamed, but they think that I don't know. But oh, I know all about them. I know that they're ashamed. I know all about them. Oh yes. It was something my socks explained. Our cats. Our cats lick each other's faces. Mum says they do that because they're brothers. I don't lick my brother's face, and he doesn't lick mine. Plastic. My friend's dad says that plastic is fantastic. He says that you can make anything out of plastic. When I go round to his house, we eat our dinner off plastic plates. We chop up our food with plastic knives. And we eat with plastic forks and plastic spoons, and we drink our drinks out of plastic cups. He said that one day in the future, everything would be made of plastic. My friend's mum said it was time to eat now. It was egg on toast. I picked up my plastic knife and plastic fork and cut into my egg. But the plastic fork wouldn't stick into the egg, and the plastic knife wouldn't cut the egg. For a moment, I thought it was because my plastic knife and fork weren't good enough to cut my egg. Then I noticed that my friend's mum and dad were looking at me and smiling. I looked a bit more closely at the egg. It was a plastic egg. My friend's mum and dad said that it was a joke. It was a joke egg. I said to my friend's dad, maybe one day in the future, eggs would be made of plastic too. That was a plastic joke. Down behind the dustbin, I met a dog called Neil. I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "Keeping it real." Keep moving. The losers got lost. The freezers got frost. The dancers got to dance on a ferry boat to France. The choppers got the chop. The shoppers got to shop. And the dancers got to dance on a ferry boat to France. Good luck to the best, good luck to the first. I might be the best, I might be the worst. If I keep moving, I might get a chance. And the dancers got to dance on a ferry boat to France. Ow! Ow! That hurts! You're pulling my hair! Don't use that comb! It hurts me just there, and there, and there. Ow! I've only just got up. It's still really early. My hair hates that comb because my hair's so curly. Ow! 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 I've got a plan. I'm going to shave my head. All you'll be able to do is polish my head instead. Ha ha ha! In the lift. The voice in the lift says, "This is the second floor. Stand clear of the door." Poor woman. Stuck in the lift all day, every day, saying, "This is the second floor. Stand clear of the door." But where is she? I can't see her. I have a feeling she's sitting on top of the lift, talking to us through the ceiling. But why can't she say anything else today? Like, tell us some funny stories. Or sing funny songs like, "I know an old bloke and his name is Lord Jim. He had a wife who threw tomatoes at him. Now tomatoes are juicy, don't injure the skin. But these ones they did. They were inside a tin." That would be a good one. I wish she would sing it while we're in the lift. Words. Words are presents that we give to each other. You to your sister, me to my brother, your friends to you, you to your friends, on and on and on. See, it never ends. The stop button. On the bus, there's a button that says stop. What a strange button. I wonder about it. Is the stop button saying to me, "Stop what you're doing"? If so, how does it know what I'm doing? And how does it know that I'm doing something that I should stop? I look closely at the stop button and wonder how come it knows so much. Down behind the dustbin, I met a dog called Andy. He was sitting on the beach and his bum was all sandy.